It's been a while since I've updated you on my mom, and if you look back the past almost 2 years, I have done videos on what it's like to be a caregiver to a family member who has dementia, or just what is Alzheimer's all about, and what some unusual symptoms have looked like, and how difficult and agonizing it was to convince our mother to go into memory care. Now, memory care or assisted living or adult family homes for those with dementia are all different. And I do talk about that in my other videos as well. And I took you with me to look at a couple adult family homes. What I chose for her was perfect. How is she doing now that we're on week 8? We're just starting up actually on week 8. It took a long time, and when I say a long time, to get her from her independent living over 55 apartment to getting in a car and accepting she has to do it herself. You can't force a person or kidnap them or push them in or wheel them in the wheelchair and take off. All those things have been done. And a lot of times people have also dropped a loved one off at the ER, no judgment, no judgment at all, and then they vanished, or they turn it over to the ER case manager or social worker, and they say, I just can't do it anymore. And my mother refuses care, refuses in-home health, and refuses to move to something to give her more care. So I completely understand all of those scenarios and have absolutely no judgment on any of them. Because unless you've been in that position, and remember, not all people go in willfully. Most do, though. And from what the Alzheimer's doctor that my mother sees up at the Brain Wellness Clinic in Seattle has told me, that most, once the transition just physically into the new place has occurred, that within time, weeks usually, not months and years, but weeks, the person becomes acclimated to that new life. And usually, and I see it because I'm there almost every day where my mother lives. So I've gotten to know all of the other residents, but they are cooperative, I guess will be the best word. They are involved. They might not remember, as depending on their disease process, from 1 minute to the next, from 5 seconds to the next, or that they just went on an outing, for example, or they just attended a music group singing class together, but they are doing it. Okay, so my mother is not. And that is really not the norm. So after this time frame of 8 weeks, I'm just going to go over what we are seeing. Still, my mom is refusing medication, refusing a shower, refusing to be changed, even if her clothes are soiled, refusing skincare. So within the first few weeks of being there, she had a stage 2 decube skin breakdown in her backside coccyx area. She fell in her room because she doesn't leave her room. And when the 2-hour check occurred, they found her in bed crying, and she ended up going to the ER by ambulance. Maybe I can insert some pictures of that. No, I have in another video. Her adjusting has been awful. Her health has gone down, and it's not because of the staff. So I just want to make that really clear. I looked at so many places, and this place is absolutely perfect. It has so many social activities every single day, every few hours, at 2 hours or so out of the day. All the meals are prepared. It's clean. It smells good. The residents are cared for. The staff is very kind and very caring. They communicate with me. In fact, when my mom actually made her way down to the dining area, which is just a very short little walk from her room, when she did it on her own one day, a few days back, the caregiver called me and just wanted to tell me, your mom came down on her own. Well, that's a big deal, because there's breakfast, lunch, and dinner and a snack every day at 2 p.m. and activities every 2 hours. And my mom stays in her room for all of them. The only time she will come out is if I'm there or my sister is there and we absolutely force her. But so there you are again. Do you force them against their will? Do you make your mom, dad, sister, brother, uncle, I'm coming to see him, I'm going to make you get in the van and do the outing with the rest of them, or the arts and crafts thing, or whatever? My mom, she stays in her room. She's isolated herself. And as far as skincare, it's not that they aren't trying, and they try over and over again. They try different staff members, they try different ways of saying it. They spend a lot of time sitting with her to convince her that it's okay to take her medication 2 times a day. But I get a phone call from the facility every morning and every evening with the same problem. Your mom is refusing her medication unless she speaks with you. Now, I guess I could tell them, don't call me, it's your problem, but I'm not going to do that. And if some of you choose to do that, that's okay too. Your mom has refused a shower for 8-10 days now. Are you coming in this week? Can you please help? Yes, I can. Now, again, you can choose to say no and just give your loved one to the center, facility, adult family home, whatever it is, and that person is their responsibility. They are anyway, their problem, their, what's the word, difficult individual to take on. They can figure it out from now on, and don't call me with issues. You have the right to do that. You have to decide if that is what you want to do. Now, at the beginning, when my mom, was refusing all of her medications, she will go without taking them. So is that, you got to weigh that out. Do I want to help my mom along and just talk to her on the phone for 1 minute or two to convince her it's okay? There isn't any trust, but then a lot of it is the disease process. So when you have Alzheimer's, you don't remember that you are living where you're living. So every day is Groundhog Day. So every day she wakes up and says, why am I here? Where am I? Who are you? I don't know you. I don't trust you. I'm not taking pills from you. So that's how the morning starts. Why am I here? Every day, day after day, all day. And they explain it gently. They've asked me, can you write down her most asked questions with an answer? Like, she always asks, why did I have to move here? Okay, so I did that, and I put it into, this doesn't work. I've done this with my mother for the past 8 or 9 years. Anything you put up a paper on the wall, she will take down. So I said, okay, and I put it up in 2 different places, and it was down right away. The staff is caring at the place that she's at in Washington State here. They are so kind, and I appreciate them very, very much. But I still view this as, I'm not her caregiver anymore, but I am now her daughter, and I'm a family member. And even though when I go there, I'm still doing caregiver work, I'm still trying to get her out of her room, walk with her, take her outside, get her over to do an activity, just try to keep her skincare okay, because I've talked a lot about what happens when somebody falls down and how falls are catastrophic injuries for, or can be for, elderly people. But it's the same thing with skin breakdown. An area on the hips, the back, the shoulders, the elbows, the back of the heels, when their daytime activity has changed, like my mother. So now she just stays in bed and she refuses to get out of bed or leave the room. Over time, your skin is changing. She's lost weight because she's not wanting to eat. So she's not getting enough hydration or protein, and her skin friction is occurring. So she's going to have skin breakdown. And so we've got that reversed, and it's looking pretty good now. The nurse practitioner of the building will be there Thursday, so I'm going to go and meet her. We'll talk about some other things with my mom. How long does somebody live once they have been placed in a memory care facility? This is pretty similar to other facilities too for elderly, but I'm just going to focus on memory care, and the average is 2 to 3 years. But it varies greatly depending on the staging of the disease process, what type of dementia that person has, and other overall medical conditions such as cancer, heart disease, And now in my mom's case, somebody who has skin breakdown has a better and falls has a life expectancy that might be different than if she went in more apt to participate and eat and get out of bed. So this is going to change her overall health. But you got to think about, what battle do you want to fight? So if she has 1 year or two, she's almost 89. What is it that I'm going to fight with her over? Am I going to fight with her over showering, or am I going to fight with her over eating? You can choose. You want to fight with them over showering, over eating, over changing their depends, over get out and walk and get some fresh air. You've just got to pick what you want your loved one to do. The days are gone that TV watching, puzzles, games, reading, enjoying the weather, enjoying the garden that's out her window. Those days are over. Now it's just really kind of survival and having the best quality of life that a person can have when they are at this stage of dementia. For all of you who wonder, like, why can't you just make her eat, or what, that's so tough, because you can lead a horse to water, can't you? So we've tried different foods. We've tried different, it isn't about that. It's not about texture. It's not about swallowing issues. She doesn't have any swallowing issues. Is it about depression? Well, she's been on Cymbalta and Prozac in the past, but when you give that to somebody who's in their 80s and 90s, they're going to react in a way that isn't necessarily the same as if you give Prozac to somebody in their 30s. Then she was on a medication to help her appetite, and that worked really well, except then the delusions became pretty significant. So there are side effects that are so bad that you cannot keep that person on that medication. And then you got to look at this. This is palliative care, right? This is the end of life process. We just let it unfold. We cannot stop or force or change the end of life process. So if a loved one does not want to eat anymore, does not want to take their medication anymore, you've got to really weigh out how much fighting you're going to do with them over that, or if you understand this is end of life and this is her choice. And if she wants to lay in her bed and just rest all day and look out her window, then that is her prerogative. Okay, so let's talk about grief. You know, it's really hard, isn't it, when you watch somebody that you love of any age with some type of medical illness, whether it's behavioral health or physical, or now I'm talking about Alzheimer's. So it's difficult because there are so many times in my life over the years that I've really, really wanted my mom. And you don't get to have a mom or whomever if they have dementia in the way that you once did. If you want them to be compassionate for something that has happened to you, or you want to discuss a new baby or a grandchild getting married, or anything that might be going on in your life, happy or not, you're probably not going to get the feedback and emotional response back to you that you once got from your parent. And you're going to miss that. You're going to grieve that. Last Christmas, when I was at a store shopping, I saw a lady my age with her elderly mother shopping together and going over and looking at all the different Christmas decorations and different things. And yeah, I can't help but think, I just so wish I had that with my mom. And I wish during the holidays I could cook with her. And I wish that she remembered my birthday. I wish I could call her. I wish I could share with her that my heart is broken, that my dog died recently, but that's not something she can give me compassion for. I tried, believe me, I tried. So she was still in the anger stage of her memory care place that she was in, and just angry and saying, I told her about Noah dying, and she just was telling me how angry she was with me for making her live there. So you're going to see lots of different stages, maybe or maybe not. But in my mother's case, lots of anger, lots of confusion, a lot of crying. And now we've kind of settled into confusion still. Why am I here? and lack of trust, and lastly, lack of participation in anything that has to do with life outside her door. If anybody's out there and is struggling with this kind of thing like I have been, let's support each other. I'm here for you. Please consider subscribing if you're interested in more content about this topic or other medical topics that I do. And I hope to see you. I hope to see you at the next video.